Hey guys, insight number 4. So we're in now chapter 9. Now chapter 9 starts off the record of Zenith. So this is Zenith who we're talking. This is the parallel timeline. So we're going back to Omni-ish, somewhere in there. And I remember they pass the plates around a lot. So Zenith is one of the ones that comes down back to the land of Lehi Nephi to see what happened down there and if they can retake the land, because it's their heritage land. Why not, So he leads this group. He starts off by this is his own record of it. I, Zenith, having been taught in the language of the Nephites, and having had a knowledge of the land of Nephi, or of the land of our father's first inheritance, and having been sent as a spy among the Lamanites, that I might spy out their forces, that our army might come. When I saw that which was good among them, I was desirous that they should not be destroyed. So he's been told, Lamanites, evil, evil, evil. And I think too that anyway, growing up in church, that was often a message that was portrayed, and I'm really trying to go against that. I'm not saying that all Lamanites were actually good people, because in any group of people, racial, religious, in your neighborhood, everyone that wears blue today, like any group of people you are going to define, anyone you're going to put in a Venn diagram, there's going to be a crossover to bad behavior and ugliness and messed up crap that just is not appropriate. However, no one group of people is all bad. There's good in there, and there's good that they do. Do you have to agree with their ways and their ideals? No, not necessarily, but it doesn't make the entire group of people bad. And God's the only one that gets to decide that, like he did with Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, no. Actually, no. He gets to decide that, not you. If you're not comfortable around that group of people, then you leave and you go, which is what they've done and gone up to Zarahemla. So anyway, he's coming back to see this. He says that actually what he's been told is not true. They're actually pretty good people. But that he contended with his brethren that had come with him. Hey, I don't really want to wipe them out. But they're being overzealous to inherit the land. They went up and they have this fight, and they talk to the king first, and they want to possess the land in peace, and the king covenants that actually we can do that, but actually this was the craftiness. This is how King Limhi ends up, some however many years later, under this Lamanite thing. So that King Laman, it says in 10, King Laman was cunning to bring the people into bondage. That was his idea all along. Actually, we don't want to fight with them, but, you look like good slaves. You can have the land. We don't want it anymore. It's pretty much desolate to us now, so you live there and do all the work, and we'll just take half of everything. But they were feeling that actually we got the land of our inheritance back. They're allowing us to live here. Okay, you will pay some taxes. Had no idea what they were getting into. So, you got to think about that. So you're thinking 17 to 18 was where we were going. It was just beautiful in that he says, yea, in the strength of the Lord did we go forth to battle against the Lamanites. For I and my people did cry mightily to the Lord that he would deliver us out of the hands of our enemies. For we were awakened to a remembrance of the deliverance of our fathers. So they remembered the many things they had been told, back from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, down to Joseph in Egypt, down to Moses, the whole thing. Everything. God delivers. God delivered our father Nephi. God delivered Lehi. God delivered Jacob. They remembered all of that. And in 18, and God did hear our cries and did answer our prayers, and we did go forth in his might. Yea, we did go forth against the Lamanites. And in one day and a night we did slay 3,043. We did slay them even until we had driven them out of our land. So they had this agreement. Didn't go so well. The Lamanites came against them. They fought them back. And then they buried their dead. And in 19 it says, and to our great sorrow and lamentation, 279 of our own brethren were slain. 279 versus 3,043. Think they won that one. But it doesn't end, and it keeps going on, and it can get really, really ugly. But the point is in that, what does strength of the Lord mean to you? Because they went up in this, because King Laman began to stir up his people that they were going to contend. He had this deal, and he's like, nah, actually I don't want this. Just being, persnickety is a good word. And just trying to have more than, more for free, basically. and yeah, they do that. Kings do that. Rulers do that. Unrighteous rulers will do that. We've all seen soap operas these days. We don't really have unrighteous rulers. Well, we do, but even just on a soap opera level, it'll be the boss of the company or they just like to cause trouble. You don't need to be that way. Anyway, but the thing is, in the strength of the Lord did we go forth into battle, because they remembered where they came from. They knew who they were, and we talk about this often. I talk about this often. Knowing that you're a child of God, remembering the heritage that you came from right back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is part of the house of Israel, knowing that you're part of that. What does that mean to you when you go in to find these circumstances? What does that mean, and how much of a difference does it make? What does this in the strength of the Lord mean to you? It means that we belong to something higher. We're not going in. And again, I was talking to my Inklings group. And I'm going to write about this particular concept, and that asking for help, because I had an experience around this last weekend. Asking for help is not always saying, actually, I need help, or that I can't do this by myself, because we could totally do it by ourselves. He didn't need the Lord's help to go in and fight. They had swords. They knew what they were doing. But what makes the difference, and it's not always a successful thing, it just makes it better knowing who you are, and the people that you lose in a fight like that, or the circumstances that arise, are more acceptable. You're calmer. You can see better days. You can always see joy. There's just so much in there that if you ask Christ to come in the first place and remember who you are, there's always a time of mourning, but you're able to move on a lot quicker. You don't get lost in this deep, dark place. Good things are right around the corner, even if you can't see them, but they're promised. And knowing who you are and that you're entitled to those promises is huge. So what differences can you find in turning to Jesus in all times versus not doing this? The things that I've done without him, I still achieved them, but it left me feeling stressed and anxious, and always that it was never enough. If I've done them with him, that feeling is a lot less. I'm not going to say that it entirely goes away, because it hasn't, but it's a lot less. So that when I was, having these thoughts of it's not enough, you failed at it, I have this very comforting, you did your best, it's all good. And I'm like, yeah, but and they're like, no, you did your best, it's all good. Now, if I don't invite Christ in for that, I still have a little bit of that, it's all good, you did your best, but it's just the percentage of it is way less. So I could still achieve these things. Like if I had to go to the supermarket, and I'm just talking daily tasks, and do the grocery shopping, can I do that without Christ's help? Of course I can. Is it better, though, to invite him in at the beginning and do that thing spirit-led, so that I go to a supermarket that's not going to cause any triggers or warnings for me, that will have the things that I need, or most of the things that I need, and acceptable substitutes, so that I only need to go to one place? Am I able to find everything in there? Do I have a good experience with the stuff? Because these things really affect my day. So if I can do that and do that with him, it's just better. And it's not that I actually need his help to do grocery shopping, because I don't. I'm going to call on the creator of the universe. I need help to go get the groceries. No, I don't need help doing that. But if I ask him for the help, it's not about me being weak or that I can't do it. It's just inviting that peaceful spirit to come with me to make it better. Not perfect, not easy, just better. I'm going to write more about that. Hopefully it's part of my book. Working on it. Anyway. And also think of how the Lamanites fared in 10 verses 11 to 12. Go look at that, because that talks about them, that they knew nothing concerning the Lord. They were wild, bloodthirsty. And these are talking about the ones that were fighting and warriors and stuff. And they're just, believed they were driven out of the land of Jerusalem because of the iniquity of their fathers. They had the wrong story, and they were bitter about it. They didn't invite the Lord into anything. Did they survive? Did they live a decent life? Of course they did. But it could have been better. It's what it is. So think on that. I'd like to know your thoughts. So if you've got some, drop them. That would be good to hear. But yeah, what does strength of the Lord mean to you? How does that look like for you? Let us know. All right, I'll see you soon for the last one.